It being 7 o'clock, I'm going to call the select board meeting to order. Is anyone here for public comment? No? Review of minutes.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from October 2nd, 2024.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0. Okay, we have, the select board received an application for a common victular license from Zach Schlesinger. Excellent. Doing business as the Melody Maker to move a restaurant coffee business from 382 Water Street to 474 Main Street in Clinton. Do you want to step forward? Please, just introduce yourself again and your address, please.
I'm Zach Schlesinger, 474 Main Street, Suite 100, and I run the Melody Maker.
Great. And this is just a hearing for your location, just to move from one
Transfer
to
the
another. Okay.
liquor license.
Do we have to open this up for hearing? Okay. This being a hearing, we'll ask that if anyone is here in favor of the application, please step forward. We'll close the portion of this hearing as if anyone is here in opposition to this application. Close the portion of that hearing. Okay. Any discussion about this license application? No? Okay.
Madam Chair, I will make a motion to approve the common victualler license for Zach Schlesinger, doing business as the Melody Maker, relocating from Water Street to 474 Main Street.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0. And to wrap this in, the select board received an application for an A-frame sign permit from Zach Schlesinger, doing business as the Melody Maker, to use sandwich board advertising for his restaurant coffee business at 474 Main Street in Clinton. And we did have some information in our packet, but feel free to add anything if you need to.
It changes often.
Yeah.
I try to change it, not daily, but almost daily. Yeah, I think it helps draw a business in. Easily recognizable type thing. Nothing wild, I don't think. But just regular, pop culture references or what's going on in town. Sometimes I make fun of my buddies, but in a nice, fun way. That's pretty much it. Yeah, I'd like to have that on Main Street again. That's very helpful for me.
Any questions?
No, very, very clever. It always captures my attention in the morning, and
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I've noticed it as well, but I noticed on social media, someone said, where did the Melody Maker sign go?
A lot of people have been saying
It's
that,
creating
yes.
some buzz, so. What's the pleasure of the board?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the A-frame sign permit for 474 Main Street. Zach Schlesinger, doing business as the Melody Maker.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0.
Good luck.
All right, you're all set.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I mean, shout us out on that sign if you want. Next up is the American Rescue Plan Act for recommendation.
To be clear, I can start tomorrow.
Oh, I don't know about that, but I'm sure. Ask the person who just walked into his office, Michael Ward, ask him and he'll let you know. Recommendations, so for Michael to come back. I just kind of wanted to go through, well, this has the strand contingency plan on there. I don't know if that's something that you want to chat about or just give us an update. If not, that's fine. Or Mary Rose, sorry.
Oh, on the chairs and the flooring, we're still trying to get bids.
I think in the spreadsheet that Michael sent, there was, I don't know if this is a placeholder, so we can ask him, but the chair, oh, it still says 50,000. But I think he said that, Brian was working on estimates, and I asked if they
Right.
might be available for this meeting, but I didn't see anything,
Yeah,
so,
well, because I think,
yeah.
especially in the flooring, he was waiting for a call back, which he didn't receive, and there was, you know, it's like anything.
Yeah.
People don't call you back for a bit, you know, and they're busy or
Yeah.
whatever. So,
Okay,
I intended to follow up with him tomorrow.
okay. So I guess just in summary, we have 4.184 approximately $1 million. Oh, okay, I missed it. Currently, we've spent about 3.7, and we have approximately $457,000 remaining to allocate. And currently, we have, I guess I put a town hall floor replacement on my notes as 120,000. Didn't you say you?
That was my guesstimate.
Okay, so we're looking, and the last spreadsheet we got, we have a total of about $700,000 in requests. So we have $700,000 in request, $457,000 to work with. Michael, do you want to talk about some of these things that got added to the spreadsheet?
Sure, yeah, and these are just, again, just ideas that were being thrown out there. The top, and I apologize, I'm a little bit late in this discussion, but I didn't know if there was a discussion on the first two, that the Economic Development Office said that, you know, those were programs, the commercial improvement program, the downtown furnishings, something that was put in a long time ago, never pursued the programs, so that he wouldn't be looking to, for that funding, so that 125,000, so that could be put into the mix.
Okay.
One issue that he did point out to me, if we
Yeah,
look
the
up
first
to the
two.
downtown coordinator, what's been allocated so far
Now we're talking
is
about
about
the
100,000 short of what was requested. So the requested amount brings it to the end of ARPA, so just wanted to point that out as well. So then the other items were on the list. The last three remaining are three issues that came up. One is we have right now accepting any lease proposals for gymnasium space as we had discussed earlier this year. So if there was any desire to do something with that, I just plugged in a number just in the event that we would have funding to do the first year of ARPA with that. I did get a communication this week from the police chief indicating just an email asking if there was any ARPA money available. I told him, kind of getting towards the end, but that he just kind of put out in the event there's any money to be spent, that they're looking to do kind of a drone program in conjunction with the police fire, kind of buying 2 drones would be $30,000. And then the last thing was, looking to kind of get a little bit more technical on the budget process. There is some ClearGov that I was looking at, some budget software. This is a 2-year, so actually you can break that in half, just to 15K. But that would be a budget software where departments can submit their budgets electronically. It would be kind of kept in a program. The board members, finance, select board could have access to then go in real time and see what's happening with the budget, comparing from previous years to the current year. So all that data would be there instead of waiting for a meeting to get a paper copy or to get information from the town administrator. So that's just an idea. It is an eligible use with communities have bought with ARPA. So those are just kind of 3 ideas that were put on at the end in the event that we get down to December and we're looking for other uses of the money. So that's what those 3 are for. The other ones, excuse me, were on previously.
Madam Chairman, can I just,
I just have one question. So the commercial improvement program, downtown furnishing and plantings, we're removing those, correct?
Right, yeah, that was, I think, the Economic Development Office indicating that the business recovery program and the business safety net kind of helped address the needs that he was looking under that commercial.
Okay, and is Central Park Furnishings, that's facilities?
Yeah, no, I
Is that
think
the
again,
same?
too, that was just kind of put out there early on, so
Okay.
it's nothing that's a critical need, it was just something that was outdoor recreation, eligible use, so again, I think that's something
Hold
that,
on, one second,
you
one
know,
more
could be
question.
helped.
And then the downtown coordinator, the balance of that being 92,000?
Right, yeah, it would be pretty close to the 100, it's, yeah,
Okay.
so it's 250 have been allocated, 349 is what was requested, so it'd be just shy of 100.
Okay,
If-
okay.
That we're not gonna spend?
Now that we is he looking to, we only allocated some of that money, so is he looking for the full amount?
I think that his intent by asking was to have that position through the end of COVID. So I think that, and I think the board was doing it kind of on a year-to-year basis. So I think his
Okay.
intent was to continue with that program.
Okay. Matt, then Mary?
So on the gymnasium lease, I did see that was posted publicly, and if there was an opportunity that came up, is there money in the budget that was allocated for that, or would we have to essentially wait until?
Yeah, I
Budget
would
season.
have to wait till the July 1. There isn't anything in there currently.
So if, in the event if that 75,000 as a placeholder, if something was to arise, then we could potentially enter into a lease agreement mid-fiscal year
Right.
and then plan accordingly for it.
Right, exactly. So maybe you might only need it 6 months and then budget for July 1. You know, if there was plenty of money, you could even be eligible for 2 years if we had the money, but things are getting, pretty tight now at the end, so. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
On the request for the drones, has the chief actually got bids on that?
Yeah, I
Michael?
hadn't gotten to that far, yeah, I don't
Oh,
have
okay.
any more detail other than an email where they just said what they were, I think they had been looking into it, it's something that within the department that they were exploring, so he kind of just gave an email just saying, here's something we're looking at, and he'll get more information if the board wanted to pursue it.
I mean, honestly, I think it's a good idea. I'm just, I'm thinking of is like the fireworks. I mean, that's a huge crowd of people up in that area. And I mean, I don't think it's a bad idea, that's for
What would
sure.
it be used for? Did they explain? Is this for policing or pictures or?
Yeah, it didn't go into a lot of detail. I think that's where, we'd probably need to bring him in to talk about it further.
But I mean, I would think that that's, when he said, I thought you said crowds.
Yeah, well, I think
So
I think police departments do use them for, those type of purposes, so.
I did speak with a police officer. He had approached me about this program, and one of the things that they had mentioned were the number of people who are, I don't want to say missing, but have maybe wandered off. It would allow them to use a drone to try to find, because I guess it's a pretty frequent phone call that they receive, that nature of it.
Right.
And then if they were looking for a suspect, it would allow them to cover a greater area from above. But that was just a very informal conversation, but those are a couple things I just can share.
Well, I guess I'm saying, I'm more than willing to look at that, because I think it does have some good worth to it,
Agreed.
Yeah.
so.
To be
if-
clear, I'm.
If the chief could come in
not-
with more
I'm not so-
information.
I'm not so hopeful, but I'd love to hear more details. Just so people understand where I am.
And we had said the chairs and the floor would probably need to go out.
Well, I think
to
realistically, we
bid.
feel that, we can get the bids and get contracts in time.
Yeah,
We were
for
looking
anything
for-
under 50,000, it's just 3 quotes, so it doesn't have to be advertised for bid. The facility director did get some pricing on that. There are different styles. I guess that's where it comes down to what we're really looking for. So he got a wooden folding chair with a cushioned seat, but a wooden back, a metal folding chair with a cushioned back and a cushioned seat, and a metal stackable chair with a cushioned back and a cushioned seat. So at a 300 count, it would be about 40 to 45,000 for the metal with the stackable ones, and maybe about half price for the folding chairs. So, but there's 100 different kinds of chairs that you can get. It's just really looking at, kind of what we feel would be comfortable. But I think they were looking at how they can be set up and broken down easily. And all the carts that would include the carts coming with them, where they'd stack them on carts and then move them into storage from there, so.
See, I have seen the ones that are just, if you took a roll, say 12 seats, and the seats are together, the chairs, but you can collapse them. So, I mean,
The whole section?
the whole section, yeah, I have seen those.
Okay.
So that's the only thing, I mean, when I was thinking of the new chairs, that's what I was, because I did see pictures of the three.
Can we see pictures of the three?
What's that?
Mary just said she saw pictures of the three. Can we get
Yeah,
those
that they had
circulated?
up in the office here, I can show them to you here.
Are they all the same cost?
No, the stackable ones are 40,000. The other ones are much cheaper, like 10,000, but quality-wise, they're really not anywhere near. Yeah,
This is the one that was about 40, and then these were like 10, and this was even cheaper because it doesn't have a back on it, so. Those were the three that he had looked, but again, there can be all kinds of other options out there as well.
So I thought one of the, yeah, exactly, that was one of the points I was gonna ask too, but I thought and I'm not saying you're pointing towards the connected pieces, but I thought one of the advantages of going this route was it would allow you to spread out the chairs.
yeah, but you can, because they're movable.
Yeah, but
So in other words, if
there's six
you, yeah, I mean,
Also, you just have, instead of having the,
them all together, like set up like a, you
Yeah.
can separate them,
okay, okay,
Okay.
or connect them?
correct?
Oh, I got you, now I got you.
I think I know what you're talking about.
And,
But I mean, there has to be, I mean, that's just what Brian had come up with.
Yeah.
But I know there are, like, as Michael said, there's tons of different varieties, and it just depends on, the needs. But, I mean, I wasn't really, the two cheaper ones, I don't really think they're,
be curious
You
what
get
the,
what you pay
the
for,
weight
you know,
capacity
right,
on
yeah.
them, or what, or the durability,
yeah, and don't forget when you're putting these up and down.
yeah.
Yeah,
You know.
print any better
Yeah.
than the ones we got.
So hopefully we'll have something,
Yeah.
Okay.
you
But
know.
it doesn't look like they'll be more than 50?
No, it appears probably around that range, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the lesser ones are way cheaper than that, so
Okay.
it's just, it's just trying, and if you, want to keep in that budget, you can, they said probably at the most for town meeting, they put up 350 to 400, I think the facilities director said, so he did a quote on 300, but if 300 works, or 250, 300, and then, in the future, if those are working and we feel they're good and durable, we can get another 100, later on, so I think 50 would be about a range that could get the program started, if that's something the board wanted to do.
That's,
Okay. And the gymnasium lease, is that, if we allocate it, is that a sure thing, or?
Yeah, we're required, for leasing to put out an RFP, that's out now, that I think the deadline is later this month in November, so there would be a proposal at a December meeting if it's something that you wanted to pursue.
Now, Madam Chairman, I know we have had discussion in the past about, the town leasing it, but I know there were so many variables as to the use that the town could have of it. I mean, are we still talking that same type of arrangement, or?
I think that's where whoever wants to respond would have to respond with their criteria, and if there are restrictions, then the board will have to decide if it's something worth pursuing at that point, but at least it's an option to at least to be able to look at it, if we want to use this funding.
Well, would this be something that legitimately, if we wanted to pursue it, that we would have to do this in executive session? Because of the negotiating with Bob?
I don't know.
Would we have to go into an
Would lease
exec?
negotiations be executive session?
The police?
No, for the gym.
For lease,
For
land
the
lease
lease of the gym and
negotiations?
all that stuff,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Doesn't have
Madam
to.
Chairman, I would,
It's something, you have a right to go to executive session for that.
yeah, well, I mean, I would ask
Okay.
Madam Chairman that we put it on the next agenda.
Okay.
I think it's worth pursuing, definitely.
Yeah, I agree, because one of the challenges we ran into previously when, Mr. Ward was approached, about gym space, it was in the first leg of the fiscal year, so our hands were tied, but to have access to funding, if something does come up, then we can move on it, because that's ultimately why that ended up getting filled up
Right,
when it did, because they needed something in hand.
exactly.
So I agree with that.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Yeah.
Mike, does the church have to respond to the RFP for us to engage them, or are we doing the RFP to cover us negotiating with them?
Yeah, the RFP has to cover cover anyone that wants to pursue it, but it doesn't preclude the church from providing information, to us.
Do they have to respond to the RFP for us to engage them, or we can contact them?
No, I mean, not in terms of, no, I mean, we wouldn't have a proposal to consider unless they submit something, but it wouldn't, I don't think it would prevent us from talking with the potential vendor.
Okay.
I know even on other projects, like, you can always solicit
Fine.
interest and information for people to submit. It's just whoever at the end is submitted, that's who you have to go with, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, well, some of the things that were added were kind of, I think you'd mentioned, like, if there's money left over, and I don't think there will be money left over, but it does seem like there is an appetite to get more information for it, so based on the updates that we just had, we have pending downtown coordinator, 1 year, auditorium chairs, Central Park furnishings, skate park improvements, tennis court improvements, town hall floor replacement, gymnasium lease, police and fire drone program, budget software. Those are all totaling $575,000, and we have $457,000.
Does that
So-
includes the removal of the 225?
That is the removal of the two,
And
yes,
then, so
exactly.
the Central Park furnishings where there hasn't been much conversation, potentially could then cut that
Yes.
number down a little bit?
Yep,
Okay.
yeah. So,
So what did you say it was?
Yeah,
Julie,
sure.
5 what? And we have what?
right now, all of those asks,
Yeah,
total
what?
$575,000.
And we have-
And right now, we have $457,900.
So it's like 125 over,
Yeah, we're 118
118?
differential. The delta is 118. And then to Matt's point, like, if we forget the furnishings, that's 68,000.
What are you using for?
And we are, I'm sorry.
For the
to
floor,
interrupt, Madam Chair,
120?
but we are diligently trying to get, departments to kind of wrap up money that they already have. I know even on some of the business recovery programs, the Economic Development Office, they do have, I think, 2 projects they were going to bring into the next meeting for the board, but that he feels there's going to be money unspent in those 2 programs as well, too. And the
Sorry.
fire chief is trying to get me numbers once he's quoted all of the programs he's been given, and trying to get me numbers as to what he's gonna spend and not spend, so. He thinks on the turnout gear that they didn't use all of the turnout gear, so.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get me
Squeeze.
those numbers so that there can be, some reallocation of money that's already been put
Okay,
out.
sorry, so you're talking about the Business Recovery Grant Program, Business Safety Net might still have money left?
Right.
Because I have noted that it's completed.
And there's about 83,000 remaining.
Yeah, yep, there's 61,000 in the business recovery and 22,000 in the safety net, so. But there are two programs that he's coming in with the next meeting, so I'm not sure.
Wait,
like,
too
what-
new to this? Sorry.
What's that?
Now, it's mid-November, so if you're saying Phil's coming to us with 2 new asks for ARPA?
No, not ask, just two applications for that program, for the
Okay.
money that's already been allocated. So there's a balance there of 61,000 in the business recovery and 22,000 in the business safety net. So he has 2 businesses that have applied for that program. So right now, there's 80+ thousand left over. With the 2 projects that are coming in, it'll be less than that, but there will probably still be something left over. There's still something that's gonna be.
Okay, so,
unused.
so I have those on the sheet as completed, but they probably are still pending if we are still accepting applications. And
Yeah, I
there's
think they
Still
were-
an option for those to be.
Right, I think they were complete. I think he had gotten some recent interest that he had gotten in the program. So when he first put it out there, he had put through all that he had, and there are 2 others that came in recently.
Okay, so
Madam
those are
Chair,
pending, right?
Yeah.
Not
So,
complete.
so Mike, if we move forward on those, does this 457,904 number change?
It would,
Probably, yeah. Yeah.
it would increase.
No,
Increase, decrease, right?
Yeah, it wouldn't change because that money's already allocated. If he spends all of it, it would stay the same. If he
But the-
doesn't use all
but
of it, then.
This,
But we're
but this
count- I'm-
457 is made up of
Final
remaining unallocated funds, 353, and then the next line item says completed projects with unspent balance, 104. It sounds like what I'm hearing from you is what we're talking about with Phil, that's a completed project with unspent balance, which he's about to approach us with some applications. So that money, I could be off, that's just.
No, that's all right.
I got you.
It's a good point. Yeah, I'll check that number.
So I'm
I
just
mean-
saying, we should, if we have an idea of the amount that Phil is asking for, we should just probably adjust this
Yeah.
457 so we don't like over allocate
Right.
stuff to it.
Right.
For the 50,000 on the fuel assistance, is that moving forward, or is it?
Yeah, it is.
Good.
For this winter season, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So they figured out how they're gonna be able to disperse that?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very good.
I think we're gonna have the senior center handle it and just have them do an interagency agreement and have them do vouchers, so, yeah.
Madam Chairman, I did have one other question, just for an update. On the weed project, it doesn't appear as though, I did see a bulldozer down there about 8 months ago that was there for about 3 or 4 days, and then it went away. And I was just curious, because I know that Jody's not there anymore in the Clinton office. Do we have an updated status of where that project is? Is that still an ongoing project?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, I don't
I
have.
mean, that was a
any-
$500,000 commitment that we,
Right, yeah, I don't have an exact status right now, but my understanding it is going forward. They had applied for a couple other grants to kind of complete everything, but they didn't get it, so I think they're thinking of maybe doing the project in stages, but I think they are still committed to going forward with it as far as I'm aware, so. And I can reach out to them and get a status from that as well, too. I can find
well,
out more.
that kind of gives me a little concern if it's not the project that we bought into, and now they're gonna do something in stages. I think we need to, I don't know, at least I would like to find out what their project or what they intend to do now that they're
I mean, an
If they're
update
not
would
gonna
be
do
nice,
the
but-
building and,
Yeah, I mean, we gave them that money so they could secure financing, so that would,
right.
yeah. But there was a groundbreaking and whatnot, but
Yeah,
so they
that
are.
was months ago.
Yeah, over
Yeah.
the summer, August, maybe? Yeah.
Well, I just want, I'm just curious of where
An
it's
update.
going.
We spent $500,000 on it, I guess, and you can ask for an update.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
They're no longer building a building?
No, they
Oh,
are.
okay.
well, no, Mike just said
That's a
that,
bait and switch.
no, I
They
think.
are, they just haven't
No,
done much.
because I understand, you said that it's kind of, it's not like
Rumors get started.
the building, they're not putting the building that Jody came in
Oh, no, it's the
with,
same.
that they're going to change how they do this project?
Well,
And
no, I
No.
think again, and I don't want to speak for them, I reach out and get more information, but I think they're still gonna build the building. It just may not, the inside might not be fully built out right at the beginning. So they'll do the foundation, they'll do the building, and then the build out maybe floor by floor, because they're having the thrift store, they're having their offices, they're having a residential component, so they may take time to get everything inside built, but the building outside will still go forward.
Gotcha.
Okay. And we're still in a positive place with the Strand?
Yeah.
Positive indicators?
Yeah, we should have, we can get
I
it
don't
into
want you to
the,
divulge.
no, I mean, we can get into it in the committee reports.
Okay.
We've made a lot of progress on the agreement with Bob. He was great. I mean, he came up with a draft, and we went over the particulars with him, where the committee's in agreement. And yeah, there's still a lot of movement, still a lot of interest with potential owners. So yeah, we can talk about it more at the committee updates.
Okay. Okay. Any additional questions? So this week, Michael, we'll, I think, firm up this spreadsheet, and I think what we need to do is just keep maybe sending it with the date, with updates to it.
Madam Chair,
Yeah.
is there anything on here that I mean, I would feel okay if should we start allocating money for some of these things that are, like, for example, I know we don't have quotes on some of this stuff, but like, it seems that everyone is interested in the auditorium chair replacements. And maybe if there's a couple other things, I'm just getting a little nervous that we're
Yeah.
really flirting with the end of this year. So if there were some things on here that we were all in agreement on, I would be in favor of approving, even if we can just approve a couple of them now, just to, because,
Yeah.
quotes take time, and if it's over 50,000, I don't know if that, we have to advertise, and I just want to make sure that we have a lot of runway. That's just my
Yeah.
thought.
I mean, we're about if we remove the Central Park furnishings, we're about $68,000 in the difference, so.
Then, going on with what Ed just said, then I would move that we approve 50,000 for the auditorium seats.
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
I would say the downtown coordinator, I would.
Yeah, so can I
Yeah.
ask just one, so where it has pending remaining balance, that is, like, how much of that is floating around versus like, obviously like with the wheat that hasn't been
I usually move that to complete. but- yeah.
spent or whatnot, so like the digital downtown signs, does that mean that there's 42,700 remaining? The, HVAC townwide 8,500, pandemic supplies, like, can we reclaim any of those, or?
Right, yeah, no, it's a good point. I think some of that could be, that's money that was allocated that hasn't been spent yet. So, but some of it has been. So in looking as I was just looking at it, I'm just saying, just pick one out quickly, like the town hall vent cleaning. I know the facilities director came with 25,000, but I think he was able to get a price to go forward on that, which was maybe $10,000 less, I think, than what he had. So that hasn't happened yet. It's happening in the next, I think, in 2 weeks. He's
Right,
gonna
so
do that,
I'm
so-
more or less looking at the top of that section,
Right.
where money has been spent, and this is what's remaining.
Yep.
What, can we close out
Can we
any of
move some
those
to
numbers.
complete?
Yeah, complete where, you know, if, I would say if that hasn't been spent by now,
Yeah,
then let's close it
yep.
Well, they
and,
have till 2026 to spend, right?
Yeah, but if they don't spend, yeah, wait,
Yeah.
you're right.
But they do need a contract though, so if they don't have a contract by December, they can
Correct.
still spend it, but they have to have something in place.
Yes.
so, and I think
You're
just
both
based
right.
upon the circumstances right now, where if there's a deficit based upon what funds are, excuse me, what, requests are outstanding, you know, as the chair had mentioned, there was about 118,000. Well, if we can kind of pull some of those out, then we can cut that,
Yeah.
number down.
I think we need to reach out to all of these pending and find out, like, where are they at? Do they have agreements? And I think everything you said, Matt, was correct, except instead of saying if it's not spent or whatever, we're gonna lose it. We just need to make sure, if they don't have an agreement yet, we have to tell them, like, look, if you can't get an agreement in the next couple of weeks, like, we might have to move this, because we can't wait. I don't see why all these wouldn't have agreements yet. Maybe they do, we just don't, but between now and the next meeting, we need to find that out. It's
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
And, and I'm not looking to like bait and switch on it, but like,
17.
you know, to try to fulfill these other requests down here, which we can move forward with, then we
Yeah.
may just have to say, you know, based upon what's there, if you don't have an agreement in place, we're recapturing those, and that's it. I mean, there's $302,000 there, so
Right.
what can, we, you know,
There's-
can we take 100 from there if need be, or whatever, but, because this number doesn't even include the floor, if that floor was to be redone, correct?
Right, right.
So that's upwards of 6, so, you know,
I actually have that in mind.
You have that included in?
I have it as 120.
Yeah.
So
Well,
you're-
I'll move that we
So-
put that in for the flooring, the 120. And it's
What's the
already
motion?
plugged in anyways, right?
Well, not, on my personal one, so I could help understand what we had and what we need.
Well, I'm just saying,
Is
if
a
if we
guesstimate
go
by
ahead
me.
with approving it, you know, and get some prices, and then down the line, if we have the money, that we do it.
I guess I'm just a little nervous about like, I mean, I'd like the gym lease. I think the town coordinator's valuable. I could probably remove Central Park furnishings. Budget software sounds pretty great, looking at all this paper, so.
I think the only challenge I have with the floor at this point is, it's, you know, does it really need to be replaced fully? Like, I can understand like on how floors go, but if that one, if it could be you know, it could be polyed and added layers to it, or sand some spots down, but not like a full replacement on that floor with some of these other items that are outstanding, I don't know that I would be in favor of that at this point. I'd be in favor of reconditioning the floor, but not,
I mean,
a tear out.
yeah, I mean, I'd like to do it all, I just don't know with,
Well, let's go
Can we
for,
bring
well,
down-
I mean, I'll still work with Brian to see if we can get 3 bids and look and see what the price comes in at.
okay, so Michael, can you, for the pending projects, can you reach out to these people who requested these ones that have remaining balances?
Yep,
Or
absolutely.
actually, I mean,
And the fire chief is already working on his, so
I
I know
mean,
he's,
yeah, how do we like add some urgency? Because I feel like we've been working on it, and we're not really moving. It's making everyone nervous, so,
So for the clarification, so we'd be looking at spent to date items that have a spent to date amount with a remaining
Remaining
balance versus the allocated, not spent, that, you know,
Yeah.
that seems to be a little different, but I'll make a motion make a motion to approve the downtown coordinator position, for that remaining, I don't have that remaining amount, but, because that would close that out completely.
Second.
That would be 100,000, but we have as an estimate, the remaining.
So at 98,
902, or no?
Well, I said 92 and then Michael said 100, so
so do 100.
100.
Okay. So that's a second, okay, all right. So
Okay. Is there any discussion on that item?
So can,
Sure.
I just need I need to understand that a little bit. So the downtown coordinator, we allocated 250,650. There's been 157,748 already spent. There's 92,000 remaining, and what we're approving right now is that this 92, is that like, is that for like one more year of the position? Or am I reading this wrong?
Originally, I have the note says through 2026, 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so, all right, I guess
So I guess that would be in the budget for this until June, and then
Right,
that would
I
be
think the
fiscal year
current
20.
allocation is just until June of '24, but then with the extra money would bring it to December of '26. So it would bring it then an additional year and a half further
You mean fiscal year 25? Is that,
20.
with the extra 100
we're good through
through
20?
26.
Okay.
No, no,
The
right
beginning of
now,
26.
just good to this fiscal year '25, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
and then through
And then
20.
the additional money would go all the way to calendar year '26.
So,
Okay.
so fiscal year 27 would be when you'd have to add in that to the budget if that position was to continue.
Right.
But I thought, and this is the last question I'll ask, because I
Yeah.
don't want to drag this out, but this says date of select board approval, May 10th, 2023. So to me, this looks like we already approved this.
We approved some of it. We didn't approve the full
Did it
amount.
you were doing it by year.
Year, yeah. We didn't commit to the entire timeframe
Oh,
up
okay,
front.
okay.
So now we're committing to the entire timeframe.
Is that the only line item that we know of that has that circumstance? Because that could get kind of confusing if there's multiple ones that are like this, that we approved, but we approved it like in stages.
Well, you can see, like.
I think that's the only one.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's the only one.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
Yeah,
that's,
right, yeah,
That's what we approved.
yeah.
So he spent this,
No, every week it's the same thing.
So,
You got it.
so you so you're, in other words, they were looking for 349,025.
Yeah, we approved
We approved-
250.
So now,
approved
tonight, if you're gonna bring it up to the max, what they were requesting, you'd be allocating it, the additional 99,020, right?
Yeah.
Or
No, I think-
25.
Why do you
That's
say
really what you're
92
doing.
then?
Forget what they've spent to date, you're giving them the extra 90 if you're voting it,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, you're
Yes.
allocating the remaining balance, and you're saying
Okay,
that
and
the
that's
remaining
about
ba-
100,000.
We need to do
Yeah.
100, so,
Thanks.
so we can either add the 7,100 to
No,
make
the-
it the 100,000, or are we just allocating the 92?
Hold on,
No, I
hold
think
on a
we
second.
allocated,
So he asked for
whatever he
three,
spent, doesn't
he asked
matter,
for
right?
349.
Yeah.
We approved 250. Of that, he's spent 157. There's
Correct.
still 92
Correct.
available. So
Correct.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know what we're approving here. It's
The
already
92,
approved.
Well, then it's
already
added
approved.
100,000 on the amount available.
You're
It'd
approving
be
the
192.
remainder of the contract.
Yeah,
That's what you're
and-
doing,
and
that's all you're doing.
When they requested this, they requested the 349,025, that was for 4 years, right?
Correct.
The board the board only approved 250, 650, so they.
Correct.
For whatever reason, they left out 99,025.
Yep, I got that.
But to get the 4 years, the full 4 years, you gotta still allocate that 99,025, so then it'll change. So that, the first column will say 349,025, the second column will say 349,025.
Okay.
Spent to date will be still 157,748,
And the
but
remaining-
remaining balance will be the 92,902 plus the 99,025 you're
Bob,
allocating.
that's why they pay
So
the
the motion was
Right.
made by Matt for 100,000, seconded
so
by
it would
Sean.
be, it would be 98,375. So-
All right.
It looks like we might have found our treasurer.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0.
All right, so
All right, move that to pending.
that's complete.
Well, it's pending. Well, no. Yeah. maybe complete, I think, yeah, you're right.
Whatever the
Well, no, it's kind of
formula-
done, right? It's done. We haven't spent it yet, but I guess complete, I was thinking like, is it done, wrapped up?
I
And is
gotcha.
there any left over? And there's a few that were like, out for bid, out for
Almost
this.
complete.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, there are some things that are out to bid to get a contract by December, so. But there are some things that are getting close too, that,
Is there any possibility in reaching out to these departments, if we could maybe receive word by next Wednesday?
Like where it stands.
In, you know, if they don't have something in place, then if we can have that information ahead, because I don't wanna be in a position that following Wednesday at our meeting when
Yeah.
we're doing this, and then they get an agreement in place on Tuesday night. Like, if there's no agreement in place now, then,
Yeah,
right.
I guess what are we waiting for? If,
Right.
I mean, some things are over bid, but like, most of the stuff was, well, yeah. I guess some was in October, so minus that stuff.
And we're positive these departments are aware that they have
I
to
guess that's
have.
what I'm wondering. This
Yeah.
only goes back to August, but I've got hold until we figure out the balance. And then in September, we're gonna check on the balance. And then in October, like, I just wanna know what the balance is, because we're running out of calendars. Like, if we can just let these people know that
Well, they-
we've got a hard out date that we
Right,
have to hit.
Yep, they're aware, yep, yep.
Okay,
But we'll,
it-
but
that's
we'll
as
I'll
long-
find
as
out
long as-
tomorrow, yep.
as
Because I
long
think,
as-
oh, I'm sorry, yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
No, I was
sorry.
gonna say, as long as they are aware, like, I wouldn't want them to be like, what do you mean? Like, I thought we were good and I had 2 years, and like, they, as long as they're aware that they had to have this in a contract/agreement by the end of this year.
Right.
If they know that, there's really no excuse why they're not in a contract or an agreement right now, but if they're not, they just gotta get hustling, because we gotta wrap this up.
Right. But I think like the digital signboards are under contract, the downtown coordinator's under contract, then there's cost wheat. I think the track are out to bid, or are going out to bid, the chillers, I'm not, fire department, like I said, I'll follow up with the chief on those, you know, and all these other ones are in process, so I think there are only a couple that we need more information on.
So Mike, would you mind, and if, as long as the board doesn't disagree, could we just add another column, like maybe next to the status that just says like what's in contract and what's still not in contract? That way, next meeting, it'll be clear.
Sure. Yep.
Thank you.
is there any chance to get this electronically? Like, not a PDF version, but like an Excel spreadsheet?
Well, that's
Sure.
what, he did attach it.
Oh, you did?
last one,
Oh, okay, I'm wrong.
But
think, yeah,
we'll
to
send
the-
out another one with the updates.
Yeah.
I just had him do the date, so that's probably as
Okay.
close as we get, so they might start coming, so we can keep people in the loop by like the date of the file. Cause we don't have any cloud-based storage, so you can't go back and.
And just one last question, because it pertains to the technology.
Yeah.
Is there anything on the email system from the vendor or the contractor?
Yeah,
Yes,
there,
that is.
we're in the midst of the onboarding process right now, so their date right now is 12/1.
Okay.
So they're already doing the onboarding workshops, and then they'll be, you know, later this month, be doing training, but they're looking to go live for 12/1. That's their target date, and I told them, I don't want to hear anything different than that at this
Yeah.
point, because they're a couple months behind already with the, doing the public safety piece, so.
All right, we can move on from this. Any further questions?
No questions, Madam Chair, but I
Yeah.
just think, maybe we just make kind of like an agreement that I think by next meeting, just between now and then, review some of these and come to the meeting prepared with ones that you want to advocate for, so we can make sure that we get this allocated at our next select board meeting. All these, the ones from commercial improvement down to budget software.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Sounds good. All right. Okay, next, the Conservation Commission member Sean Kerrigan would like to update the select board on ideas for conservation agent services by either using a consultant or entering into an intermunicipal agreement with the town of Sterling to share their employees.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's my understanding Sterling and Rutland had a draft agreement to share a conservation agent, and Rutland is not going forward with that. The Conservation Commission is very interested in filling that slot. These aren't easy positions to fill. Just some backstory. I spoke to a consultant in Bolton who works with towns. And before the pandemic, there was basically like two kinds of conservation agents. There's the environmental scientist toward the end of their career who was looking to kind of cycle out and take this work, or the newer candidates who were fresh out of college and looking to get into the business. After COVID, like a lot of positions, the top end kind of went away, and we don't have that inventory anymore. So we're going to be looking at most likely a younger candidate anyway. This certainly can't get better as far as geography. So it would allow us to get somebody to help us out in the area instead of, too long of a throw. The question I'm curious about, without going line by line on this thing, is I guess Rutland was originally going to pay for this, and then Sterling was the +1, and I think we were looking for the opposite so that we didn't have to go through the personnel board, but I don't know how that works.
No, and again, I don't know 100%, but the way that it was kind of presented to me from Sterling, I think Sterling might have been the originator, and Rutland was going to join them, because Sterling already has their own job description, position classification, so I think they had the position and Rutland joined with them, but then Rutland isn't doing that anymore. They're kind of went out on their own, so then they were open to having Clinton take that Rutland's position now, so.
Yeah, because it says in it that,
It's on Sterling's
yeah, so
pay
that's odd,
grade.
because it does say that the health insurance is through Rutland, but then down
I
below.
think you split those responsibilities.
Exactly, right, yeah, so I think that's what part of the deal was, to split the salary and split the benefits, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know what the timing on this would be. We have, 20-ish in our, thanks to the finance committee, in our account to cover that and some Rochester Farm stuff. We probably have to go back for a reserve fund transfer. The best I could find was a Sterling like 2021 budget or a salary grid. And I'm sorry, I think it was in another notebook.
Yeah, right, but I did talk with the town administrator, sorry to interrupt,
Great.
but I think what they're looking to offer it, I think, was not at that range.
Great.
I think I think what they're looking at by the time, if this gets approved, if Clinton wants to join, then they would have to go to their board and then finalize the agreement and then put out to bid, and recruit someone and onboard them, so they're probably not talking till at least January before they would start.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
So I think the estimate is, not knowing till we get there, would be that a little less, the budget the conservation has, or a little less, would probably cover that for the 6 months.
Yeah.
And then would determine in the budget process if you wanted to do it for the remainder, for the new fiscal year. So that would get you at least the rest of this year. Benefits on our end are paid through another line item, so that would be covered by the health insurance line item. So we could cover that, and then the money that's in your budget would be, maybe a couple thousand under would cover this position. Because I think they have limitations on what they can offer new employees as well, too.
Gotcha.
So,
Yep.
it's not gonna be top of the range, so.
So the thought process of sharing a resource as opposed to just having our own, just so like we can crawl before we walk type of thing?
Yeah, and I think, I don't want to speak for the rest of the commission, but yeah, having half a person right now is a lot better than no people. We're working with DEP to get our existing staff trained. We have some people coming in to help out. But having somebody in the area who could be boots on the ground
Yeah.
during the day. Yeah, I think, like, if we wanted, I think this is a great first step. And, you know, if it turns out that the workload is beyond what can happen there, then we could always, you know, figure something else out. And, you know, Sterling, I guess I'm willing to take whatever I can get. And the
Yeah.
fact that Sterling is open, and normally this kind of proximity isn't easy to find. So our commission is very interested in pursuing this.
Do we need a motion to like move forward with this?
Yeah, I think the motion would, ultimately would be, the motion would be to enter into a municipal, intermunicipal agreement with the town of Sterling, and then we'd work with town council in Sterling to come up with that final language. I did provide the draft of what they had for Rutland, but that would have to be updated and solidified. So if the board wanted to move forward, it would probably give the solicitor authorization to enter into agreement with Sterling.
Should
I'll
we
make a move.
Sorry, one second. Should we check with the finance committee first to see
Yeah.
if there's, what is it?
Money?
Yeah,
But
Appetite
according to what
for funding it next
Mr.
year?
Ward just
or-
said, that.
right, but how long is this with this agreement? Is this a
Yeah,
multi-year
I was
thing or is it
gonna
year to
say-
year? I don't want to string Sterling along if we're not.
Right,
Yeah.
and I think that's something we'd have to negotiate, yeah. And the boards are
appreciate-
meeting,
listen, I
finance
appreciate the
committee are
support.
meeting next week, so I
Right.
guess you could update them at that meeting, so.
So it's, sorry, intermunicipal agreement, and then we
We
look
enter into
for-
that, but we would need funding for it, so.
Right.
Right.
Right, funding,
But you have the
and then,
funding.
well,
For
20
6
grand.
months.
Right.
How much?
Oh,
is
But
it?
I think they're looking to hire somebody with a commitment that we're gonna go for.
Yeah.
Yeah, not 6 months.
And I guess I'd want that commitment from the finance committee before
For the next fiscal year.
I
Yeah.
extended to, and just
Yeah.
considering
Not even
Sterling.
have those conversations until January, February.
But if they tell us next week that it's a no, I don't think that's the case, but
I mean, the only thing that should prevent us from doing this would be if we choose to go with a full-time resource ourselves. That having no conservation agent, I don't think is an option right now for where we're at.
listen, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
and we,
go.
when we talked about, we did talk about doing this
Yeah.
a couple of years ago, and we talked about the possibility of this being a shared resource with a couple other boards as well, like I think the planning board, for example, because
Yeah.
there is a little bit of overlap between the two, because that's the difficult thing. The boards are great, volunteers are great, but like businesses and stuff and people, it's tough to get in contact with a board, and if you
Yeah.
only meet once a month, you really need someone answering the phone, answering day-to-day questions, so, I mean, I'd be fine with having a full-time resource ourselves, but if we wanna do this, like, if we're more comfortable doing this
Yeah.
first, then whatever, but it's either this or a full-time. as far as
I'll
I'm
make a
concerned.
motion to enter, to approve entering into negotiations with the town of Sterling regarding a shared use of a conservation agent.
Second.
Any discussion?
Just, yeah, one point to clarify that. I'm told from my friends on the Conservation Commission that it's easier to find somebody who does this full-time, split within 2 towns.
Okay.
Than somebody who has both skill sets. Again, it's a
Okay.
small pool of applicants. Also, thank you for, I'd like to thank you for your support.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
I can vote on this, yeah?
Better be
have
safe,
to if you
better be
want.
safe than sorry, you know.
5-0.
Put this in
Thank you again.
this
That's
triple C,
exciting. I
triple C
heard-
bucket.
Yeah, I feel, and thank you to the Conservation Commission for your patience. As a volunteer board, I'm sure that's really, yeah.
There are challenges.
Yeah, challenging, thank you. All right, the select board needs to approve the Clinton Middle School project funding agreement with the Massachusetts School Building Authority, which will set out the parameters for state reimbursement on the middle school construction project. All right,
Right, yeah, so the board in the summer had approved the budget scope agreement as to what the maximum cost that the state would entertain for this project. Now, this here is the project funding agreement, which would then outline the reimbursements that we're gonna get in the process that will follow. So, so it's something the select board would need to approve, and then authorize the chair to sign the agreements on their behalf.
Sorry, so it's just the procedure of how we get reimbursed?
Right.
So can you just walk us through like how we, it was my first time doing this, can we just walk through this project and how we work it out from a finance perspective?
Yep, so right now, the town will do temporary borrowing year to year as we see what needs are for the project. The state will then reimburse any actual costs of the project on a monthly basis, based on the eligible costs and based on the reimbursement ratio for the town. I think it's 78% and change right now, but not everything is reimbursable. So this agreement will then outline what gets reimbursed and how it gets reimbursed. And then as the project goes along, we'll get reimbursed monthly. And my understanding is until the end, when there will be kind of a hold until the whole audit is done on the project, and then there'll be another lump sum payment at the end.
So when do we start, when does this all start?
Well, the design is going on right now.
Okay, so we're already paying for it?
Right,
Okay.
right. So once this agreement is in place, then we'll start getting the reimbursements for work that's being done now.
Anything else we should know about finance and borrowing on that?
No, not at this
Bond
point.
rating's good?
Yep, yeah.
Okay.
We use stand-in poors for our bonds. Our bond rating is still intact, and it's still a good level as to where we were the last time we went out to borrow. Yep.
Okay. What's the pleasure of the board?
Also move, Madam Chairman, that we authorize you to sign the document to go forward.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Board and committee resignations. The select board will need to determine the process and timeline for filling vacancies due to the following resignations. Steve Lipka, Planning Board. Colby Armstrong, Library Board of Trustees. Steve Mendoza Jr., Council on Aging. Judy McGrail, Cultural Council, and Lisa Philbin, Cultural Council. Just want to say thank you to these people for serving the town, much appreciated. Sorry to see them leave, but let's talk about what we need to do moving forward. So Planning Board, Library Board of Trustees is an elected position. We will need to appoint someone until the term is complete, or the Steve Lipka.
Yeah, Madam Chair, typically, under the statute, each of those, the board should get a letter technically from the planning board, the remaining members, notifying the Board of Selectmen of the vacancy, notwithstanding that we already know, that you already know about it.
Yeah,
And then that's what kicks the clock. Then you have, if they don't do that within 30 days, the board can act on its own. But once you get that notification, you can, I mean, you have, like, for example, you have the notifications now, you can treat that as having if you want. Then you would just schedule a meeting, a joint meeting with each of those, since they're elected positions, each of those two other boards. I know the boards, I think everyone here has been through that process before. And then that joint meeting, you know, even before that, you could have a meeting first to decide how you're gonna go about it, you're gonna advertise it. But then once you have the joint meeting, then just a majority of both boards who then votes, you know, the individual to step in for the position. And that position only goes until, I don't know when these terms are up,
Yeah.
but it only goes to the end of the term.
okay.
So
Not till
is
the
this,
election.
is this
Yeah.
not for, like,
Or I have
When's
to,
their term
I'm
up?
sorry.
so you would, so if we appointed, if there was an appointment made, don't they have to run again
Next election. I said,
The next
I said
election.
term, but Sean's right, yeah.
For
Next
the
election.
remainder of the, whatever that term is.
Exactly.
And then, okay.
Right, 'cause
I don't know what's
planning
left on
board-
each of these,
planning
but
board, I
yeah,
think,
you're right,
is
there's
like
only 1 year left,
27.
they're only running for that 1 year.
Exactly. And if there's two, they have to run again for that following year. And
Exactly.
then run again for that. Yeah, so
You
you're.
got it, right.
So whoever serves, either serves through June, July, June, I guess. And then if they choose to run again, it would just be the remainder of Mr.
Of that
Lucas'
term.
term. Wait,
Right, so
Okay.
planning board was 22, so that's 27 that'll be up.
Is it
But it doesn't.
5 year or 3 year?
It's a 5-year, planning board.
5 years? Oh, damn.
Yeah, no one pays attention to the planning board. I think the library one was
Is-
coming up,
Okay.
but don't quote me on that.
All right, let's get our ducks in a row and we'll figure that out. How do we normally, newspaper, what's required of us to, for these elected positions?
Yeah, generally, with the process that the select board would like to do, in the past, the practice has been advertising in the paper just to let the public know, and then have joint meeting with the remaining members in order to make the appointment, so.
All right, let's do the newspaper, social media, put something on our website about these openings. Anything else we have to, I mean, Mr. Lipka said his resignation is effective the end of the calendar year.
And he's
Mr.
staying on the board of health. I get-
Yeah. No?
The planning,
Or Steve Lipka?
He's on the Board of Health, too.
Board of Health, too,
right,
right?
yeah, oh, yeah, stayed on the
Staying.
board of health, but I think the planning, I think, was right away, I believe.
Okay.
Oh, I thought it said. in the letter.
I think his letter says the end of the year.
Effective January 1st, 2025?
Oh, he did, okay, even better. All right.
Although Colby Armstrong's is immediately. Okay. And then the other ones, it sounds like the cultural council has limitations, term limitations, so that's why they cannot serve any longer, so. Guess we'll just need to advertise for that.
Yeah, those just like regular annual board and committee appointments, so we can advertise those as well.
Okay.
And, I mean, they could all be done together if your board's not opposed, but one ad and put all of them in there.
Yes.
It's just really getting public notice that there's vacancies, so, you know, people can't say they weren't aware of it, that's all. So there's no legal requirement, it's really just a process to notify the public, so.
Okay, let's do that then. Okay, all set. Next, town administrator evaluation process.
Sorry, Madam Chair.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
So do we want to schedule joint meetings with them or wait until after we get candidates? Reach out to them and see, like, I guess I wonder what the timing would be. I don't know if the
I
library's.
guess there's no reason to meet if we don't have anybody, but,
Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay, so
I mean, what's there to vote on if there's no candidates?
just wasn't sure if there's any kind of urgency as far as the library is concerned, or the planning board has a little time. What comes first there? Do we set the deadline, or we just wait and see when applicants?
Yeah, you can set a deadline, and then revisit it once you see who puts in from there.
Well, we'll give it a couple weeks, and then talk about it next meeting.
Yeah, I guess maybe like 2 weeks from when it goes out in the newspaper?
Yeah, if it goes to the newspaper Friday, it will be published next Friday, so it'd be 2 weeks thereafter.
Okay.
Can we let those two bodies know that we're advertising?
Yeah,
And
I was just gonna say, if you're gonna do that, you should probably have, that's the vote you take now, you should let those two bodies know that you're gonna advertise, and once you
Media's
get
coming.
anyone who applies, you're gonna provide them copies of the applicants too, and then have a joint meeting, if that's the meeting you're gonna pick.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so we need to let those two boards know that we're advertising and the time frame.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Then would they plan on then coming to the next
Yeah.
select board meeting after
Or,
that deadline.
yeah, after
After
once we
whatever
start
that
getting-
deadline is, yeah.
Hopefully the applicants will roll in. All right. Town administrator evaluation process. I sent an email with the form attached to it on Monday and set a deadline of November 18th. If you did not get that email, let me know, or if you have any questions, but it's the exact same process and hopefully model an outcome that Christine Purple had set forth when she was here. So it will be, again, just to be clear, the responses will be sent to me and I will synthesize them into the same composite we got before. So let me know if you have any questions. Town administrator report?
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. Just one item I just wanted to bring to the board's attention in case you're hearing from constituents in the community, that the recent HERO Act that was passed allows for an expansion of veteran property tax exemptions. So there's two different ways, either just increasing the exemption or tying, and/or tying it to the cost of living, to inflation rate. But those provisions need to be adopted by town meeting. It's a local option. So I think some people feel once the state law passed that they should, it would just go in automatically, but it's up to each city and town to determine if they want to do it. So this is something that the board would consider, come next town meeting if it's something that you want to put on to review. So, but I know the Veterans Service Officer and assessors, they've been getting a lot of questions on it. So I just wanted to let the community know that it's something that we can't do until we go to town meeting.
Is that something we want to post information on our website if people are asking questions about it?
Or share with us.
Yeah.
Since I have I have no idea what this is.
Yeah, it's new, but yeah, it's, if the veterans officer could circulate the information to this board, and then we'll see what we can, maybe add a link to his page on the website if people are asking about it, just explaining what some of the frequently asked questions are.
Does any veteran qualify for this, Michael?
I think it, veterans that qualify for the exemption. There is a current exemption right now. It just is expanding how much that they would be eligible for.
Okay.
So I
Great.
think there would be criteria that you would have to review. Yeah.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Administrative business. Town hall use for health fair. The Council on Aging is requesting use of the Town Hall Auditorium on Wednesday, April 9th, 2025, from 10 to 1 to host a community health fair.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the request for use of Clinton Town Hall, Fallon Memorial Auditorium for the Community Health Fair on April 9th, 2025, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0. Water, sewer, trash abatements. Superintendent of Public Works, Kevin Bartlett has submitted a list of water, sewer, trash abatements in the amount of $1,139.78.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the water sewer trash abatement in the amount of $1,139.78 as provided by the Superintendent of Public Works, Kevin Bartlett.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No. Okay, old and new business. The town of Ashburnham is seeking to join the Devon's Regional Household Hazardous Waste Consortium, and the charter for that organization requests acceptance by member communities.
Madam Chair, I'll vote to accept the town of Ashburnham into Devon's Regional HHW Consortium.
That's a motion. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nobody. The VFW Poppy Drive fundraiser, Clinton Veterans of Foreign Wars, Post 523, is requesting permission for their semi-annual Poppy Drive to take place at the intersection of High Street and Church Street.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the VFW's request to hold their Poppy Drive at the intersection of High Street and Church Street on Saturday, November 9th, between the hours of 9 AM and 3 PM.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, 5-0. Recruitment policy. Select Board Member Ed DeVault would like to propose a policy that outlines expectations and a timeline for recruitment of vacancies in staff employee positions.
Madam Chair, I request we table that for a future meeting.
Okay, let's table that.
Thank you.
And personnel hiring updates.
To provide the board with an update, all interviews have been completed and in various stages of finalizing candidates. Some are in negotiations for offers, some has offers pending their response, and some offers are in the works of being made. So everything is at the final stage at this point of all the current open positions that are out there. My hope was to be able to provide a report to the board next week. Still waiting, don't have any acceptance or finalizations of any of them yet, but we're working through it.
Okay, so I'm clear. You've made final offers on all those positions?
Not on all of them, no.
Oh,
But,
which ones?
so there's the building inspector that I'm awaiting to hear back from the candidate. There's in the position, the assistant treasurer, that we've kind of come to an agreement. The HR just met today, and we're negotiating an offer there. And the assistant town administrator just completed all the round of interviews on Thursday, so we're looking to finalize a candidate to make an offer on that position.
So the building inspector and assistant treasurer offers are out pending a response from them.
Right.
The HR, we are in the middle of negotiating a offer.
Right.
And the assistant town administrator, we're down to, three finalists?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any committee reports?
I can go, I have two, and if Mary Rose wants to do the, I have the cable commission report, and then me and Mary Rose are both on the Strand committee, so she can, if you want to, Mary Rose, you can.
Yeah, we met with, the committee met on Monday night, and Bob presented a document, a legal document, with provisions as a protection for the town, and as well for the people who would be involved in it, and Justin Barrett. I gotta say, Bob did a great job. The committee had good dialogue with some good questions. And so there were some committee members that couldn't be there on Monday night, so a few things that you had to tweak, Bob. So the document will go out to all the committee members prior to our meeting on Tuesday. And hopefully for the next meeting, we'll have a document that we feel is going to be acceptable to the board. I think that's pretty much in a nutshell.
That's it. The cable commission got together. Real quick, we approved approximately $16,000 for some new agreed-upon equipment between us and the schools. We talked further on the town-school collaboration, so there's a lot more back and forth. There's some teachers right now that are very active and interested, and they have requested that Mark go up to the school for some of their classes and some of their, for lack of a better term, their free periods to help some of the kids who are doing this filming, to train them better on the equipment and on some of our expectations. We had some conversations about some new content for the YouTube channel and for the channel. I know Mark has a job description for, I'm probably gonna butcher the actual name, it's basically like a production assistant that he is been working on the planning board with. And we also discussed, Mark's made a lot of progress on the layout for the studio that he's planning on putting at the town hall. So it was a pretty productive meeting.
That's a prep period, not a free period.
Yeah, prep period, yeah. Well, actually, no, what's the actual word that they? Oh, no, I thought when I was on the school board, they had, what's the period where the kids can go wherever they want depending on? When, yeah, I think that's what they were talking about, the wind block that they were gonna use it on, yeah.
What
Still
I
not-
need
Still not
now.
free.
They work all day.
I know, in the coal mine, I get it.
I can give an update on the mural committee that I'm on. The committee met, about a month ago to review proposals, that had been sent by definitely over 10 artists. And we narrowed it down to 5 and then 3. And, the downtown coordinator has reached out to the 3 candidates to find out if they are in fact still interested. They are very much interested. I think they've all at this point come to see the site, but given their samples they've provided, they are very impressive. So right now they are working on like a concept proposal for our committee to review, with some parameters of it, maybe, exploring different parts of like Clinton, how they might be able to incorporate that in the mural. So the expectation is that we will probably be voting on that come January.
Julie, how much prepping does that wall need to be able to accomplish that now? Do you know?
Yeah, they did a test patch on it, which I think everyone thinks might be the mural, given the questions, but,
Yeah, the
Lee's
big
kind of
white,
done.
the white, big white
Yeah,
patches
there
on
will
it.
be kind of that backdrop. Lee would have definitely more information, because that was like a big concern to make sure that the site was prepped and, I guess, conditioned in a
Yeah, 'cause
way that the art
I'm
would
just saying that
stay.
wall's been sitting
Yeah.
under that condition
Yeah.
for such a long time. I'm just
She
structurally, how,
certainly explained it better than I am right now, but that has been a big factor in it. And everything kind of has worked out. So next time she comes in, or maybe I can have her send an email to the board with that. But yeah,
oh, it'd be
she's
nice.
kind of done her
One
due
way or the other,
diligence
it'd be
there.
nice.
Yeah, like I said, the samples were pretty impressive. So hopefully it will be a great addition to town once it comes to fruition.
Madam Chair, on that.
Yes.
One thing, so for your next subcommittee meeting, so I had prepared it maybe a month, 2 months ago, because we need to get the owner's approval.
Yeah.
Obviously to do that mural. So I had prepared a draft agreement, for the owner to review. I don't know if the owner has done that yet, but I haven't gotten it back. I was coordinating.
You had a draft?
Yeah, a draft access agreement and, and a right to, to paint the mural, because that wall is actually owned by the owner of the property right now.
Yeah,
who's doing this.
that did come up, and I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't know
want
the
to speak on
status
it,
of
but
it
I can
either.
follow up on it.
Is that owned by the people that own the laundromat?
It's really, it's like owned by the train company, but the agreement is like that the
Right,
building
they've gotta
owner
maintain
maintains
it.
it.
And
It's
then
very
when,
weird.
and then when we reached out to the, I don't know if it's CSX, I don't recall, but they took the position, they don't have any responsibility for it.
Yeah,
You know,
like
they
we
gotta
own-
do
It
it when
doesn't
it is.
surprise me.
Yeah, we own it, but we're not
But the deed does say that
responsible
the
for it.
owner of the laundry, the former laundry down there, they do have responsibility to maintain and upkeep that wall. So if they have that responsibility, they can certainly approve a mural to go up there.
Yeah, and I think they've kind of given their blessing for it.
Right. But they're gonna have to sign off.
they will have to sign, yeah, whether they've actually signed it, I don't know, I'll ask Lee.
Right.
Let me put that down as a action item for myself. Okay, I think that's it, right? We will now be.
Sorry, can I just give one
Oh,
shout out to,
yeah.
I want to thank the town clerk,
No, right.
Holly Sargent and Becky Schoolcraft, and all the poll workers for their hard work yesterday. I know when I came, it was busy, and those days aren't easy, but I'm told everything went great, so thanks for all the hard work.
Yes, thank
I'll throw
you.
a shout out to the Clinton High School field hockey team and girls soccer team for their, they just participated in the Massachusetts Athletic State Championship, district tournament. They had great seasons, and Friday, Clinton High School football and the cheerleaders will be hosting Tingsboro Friday night at 6 o'clock, which is a different time than the normally scheduled game times, and you have to purchase an electronic ticket in advance in order to enter. So cheer on the Gales.
Cross country's at Rentham for districts on Saturday. That's free.
Also like to note, I was watching the high school game that was at Maynard, and Maynard's public access did not have instant replay. Like, so just
Yeah,
be
no.
proud, be proud of our filming.
Well, it looks like we're kind of killing it in the fall sports, and I will say my in-laws watched the field hockey game from Cape Cod, thanks to our Green Light Studios and our cable commission, and they much appreciated by them. So, I guess we can adjourn this, we're gonna adjourn this meeting and then move into executive session to discuss police union contract renewal and town administrator contract renewal.
And we have to
I think we have to motion to adjourn this
roll
meeting.
call.
Roll call.
We're not gonna be meeting.
Oh, and yeah, sorry, and we will not be returning to open meeting,
Other than to close.
other than to close.
Roll call. Ed DeVault, aye.
Sean Kerrigan, aye.
Julie Bruce, aye.
Matt Kovasai.
All right, Dick, all right.